Well, welcome. This is the Know Your Numbers podcast hosted by Chris McCormick. Today's guest is a fellow New Englander out here in Boston, Massachusetts. He's also been around in the Rhode Island area, so he's got a soft spot in my heart, and I'm excited to have him here. Adam Risman, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Great. Glad to be here.
My pleasure, man. For those that don't know you, would you mind just giving a quick background on who you are, what you do, and we'll go from there?
Definitely. Yeah. So my name is Adam Risman. I work for a family agency, Risman Insurance Agencies out of Medford. We've grown to 10 agencies across Massachusetts in the last 20 or so years. And I help business owners and individuals really just assess where they're at in their insurance journey, see how we can really assess where they're going and help grow with them and really just make sure we protect their assets, both, again, personally and professionally.
That's awesome, man. And yeah, that's something that's obviously important in the professional services industry. And then also just the investing world in general. I think a lot of people are aware, but not fully aware of the benefit that insurance can be. And it's actually good timing because I just put out a post yesterday about the importance of life insurance and using that as a vehicle for investing, not necessarily an investment, but a possible vehicle. I'd love to hear your take on that, what you've learned in your time in the industry, and any advice that you might be able to provide for somebody that's thinking about life insurance or insurance in general, the benefits.
Yep. Yeah. So we don't do a ton of life insurance, but that's
Okay.
obviously a great way, like you said, to not only protect yourself and your assets, but to protect your family and really just use it both, like you said, for investing, really growing a real estate portfolio or anything like that. But for us, really what we try to do is work with companies as a whole. And, the most common thing we get is, hey, Adam, we got insurance. We've had it for a while. We got our guy, and no one looks at it for years. And honestly, they view it as a bill saying, hey, I pay my bill every month. It's a pain. Like, why am I giving people money when nothing happens to me? And for some people that might be relevant. But really when we see our value, unfortunately, is when something does happen to an individual or a company. And, it's in a time of panic, and really for us, the biggest value we bring is giving peace of mind when something does happen, saying, hey, we're here for you. We have resources both in the insurance industry as well as elsewhere, just to make sure that the biggest term is getting back to whole. That's kind of the whole point of insurance. So when something does happen, we're here. You have our cell phone numbers. You call us, and we connect with the right people at the insurance companies or internally, and make it all better, to say the least. And like I said, I mean, we offer a couple other things, like something called Mineral to help with the legal and HR terms, really, which has become obviously a big issue in COVID. Everyone's short staffed, and it's very hard hiring people right now. So for us, it's about, like I said, peace of mind for business owners and individuals.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And so what's your role in the company? Do you have a stated role, or is it kind of multiple hats?
A lot of hats are worn.
Yeah.
Family business, you always, you're doing everything you can to help. But I'm the commercial risk advisor, so I'm outside helping business owners in the field. Really, I want to be in front of people. I want to get to build the relationship early, and I want to really see, again, just what drives them, where their company's going, and if we can be a partner for them.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that's something that I do see when I first met you, which we mentioned before we hit record, was a couple months back, but you do have that entrepreneurial drive and spirit to you. You're going to the networking events, you're interacting with people a lot more than most, in a more efficient manner than most people do. So I'd love to hear your take on the importance of being yourself and building quality relationships and having that drive to keep moving forward and pushing the throttle, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, I just love networking. I love getting out, meeting people, learning about them, what drives them, what they do that's unique, and honestly, how I can, pick their brain and get better myself. But honestly, what's really fun about this industry and what I've loved in the last couple of years is I've come from a sales background, as you could guess. I did enterprise sales for software companies to Fortune 100 and 500 companies. And the thing about those sales was you say, hey, Chris, do you want this? Sign on the dotted line, and we'll probably never talk again, which is great. It's a type of sales. But for insurance, what I've loved is, going to all these events and meeting people and seeing, hey, what can you offer to my clients or offer to me, where, again, we can grow that resource and not just be providing business owners policies to customers, but helping with bookkeeping, helping with payroll, helping with any other area, and really being that one person where they can call you and say, hey, I need help. Like, who do you know?
Yeah.
So that's been great. And for the networking piece, honestly, it's been a crazy world since COVID hit, and it's a lot of online networking, which might not be everyone's favorite, but just getting in person, shaking hands with people, and really just again learning about who they are, what their background is, and what their goals are, and helping them get there. It'll pay dividends down the road, and I know it's a lot of fun in the meantime.
Right. Yeah. It's the journey, not the destination. I've been told and often say, but no, I got to say, Adam, that is one thing I picked up on you right away was your willingness to just do favors for others and lead people to where they need to be. And for background for anybody listening, we went to I don't know, what was it? It was a networking event here in Boston. A lot of young professionals, I guess.
Yep, I think it was
Go ahead.
Boston Professional
Yep.
Association.
Okay. And so we connected through someone else, and the first thing you said to me or was like, I got this guy, and that guy, this group, that group, and that group for you to get connected with. And I was like, whoa, okay, I'll talk to them all. But yeah, no, it was it really showed who you are and your experience in the business too. Because for somebody that was just getting started, it's good to learn that and see that in action. Because a lot of people, you go up to them, they're like, yeah, I can do this for you. And they're like, okay, I need this. You're like, oh, I can't help you, but you're quite the different opposite, I guess.
Yeah, no, and it's, every salesperson number one, I guess, reaction when you meet someone is, hey, what do you do? How can I sell you, or how can I help you? And that's great.
Right.
In a lot of ways that does work. The problem is when 95% of people say, hey, Chris, I don't need what you're selling. A lot of the conversations die right there, and
Yep.
That's not all that fun. So when you go in with just a curious mindset and saying, hey, again, getting to know the person and seeing what their needs are, and the more you network, the more you can help those needs. So if you call and say, hey, I need payroll, I got
Yep.
5 people on my cell phone, I could call and say, hey, Chris needs payroll right now.
Right.
And what that does is not only does it solidify the relationship where you think to yourself, oh yeah, Adam introduced me to this guy, and I'm in the back of your mind forever as you work
Yep.
with that, but it helps them. Obviously now they're thinking of me, and it's just, again, it's about sharing the love in these businesses. There's so many different service providers, there's so many different options, especially in insurance, where you could walk down the street and probably see 5 insurance agencies.
Yep.
Walk in any of them and get good service. It's about going above and beyond for your clients and for your referral partners, where you can kind of stand out and be that person where it's a no-brainer, and you're their number one go-to person.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I gotta ask, for somebody that's younger in a more older organization,
Yeah.
what's it been like? Because I mean, dude, it's crazy. Your energy radiates from you, and just being able to see that and knowing that you bring that to the table. Like, how is that received in your organization, received in other organizations, and what has your experience been working for a company that's been around, coming up on your 100th anniversary, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different dynamic being in the family business. It's been awesome working for my dad and just getting to learn from him. I mean, I've only technically been in the business full time for 2 years, but growing up, I was always around the business. In high school, college, I was doing breaks there and just kind of learning the very simple aspects of insurance. So I knew all the terms going into it and all that, but I finally, dove in head first and took the test and got licensed and all that stuff a few years back. But no, it's been really fun. I mean, everyone's been super welcoming coming into the organization. We've done more acquisitions since I've joined. So every day is a project of meeting new people and getting to know the employees, and really just, again, seeing how we can help one another continue to grow. Being on the outside end of things and working with these bigger companies, sure, I talk to them and we talk about policies and coverages, all that fun stuff. But once we get into the weeds and we're really quoting out and helping, put together these plans, I have a bunch of people on our end that they might never see. And we're working to get creative and building out all these different, just possibilities for their insurance. So that's really fun. Everyone's been super helpful. And again, it's just about modernizing an industry that, let's be honest, is a little bit out of date.
Right.
Most insurance conferences you go to, there's not a lot of people that look like me.
I believe it.
And we're trying to change that. We're trying to get more young people in the industry, trying to show them the benefits and how much fun it is, and just the growth opportunities you have and the people you'll meet is really invaluable. And there's so many different directions you can go in insurance, not just sales and people, you see like me out on the road, but there's, customer service, there's the carrier side, there's a service side, there's a million things. So that's been really fun. And yeah, I mean, in regards to the rest of the industry, again, it's an industry that's been around forever and it's not going anywhere, as
Yep.
you know. But yeah, we're trying to bring, a lot of energy and a lot more young people into it and really educate people, because
Yeah.
most people just have that image of insurance and they'll probably never get it out of their head, which might not always be in the best light for us.
Yeah.
But I'm on some different organizations. I'm on the Young Agents Committee. So we're, again, trying to help people get more active in the communities and really just show the value. And yeah, we're doing everything we can to spread the love and see how we can get more people in the business.
Hey, that's awesome, man. That's so good. I'm curious, like, so question is twofold, I guess. Is one, how big is Risman Agency? And two, now that you're growing and continue to grow, what are some of your strategies that you go through in terms of hiring? You mentioned it's been a tough time during COVID. I'm sure you guys need some employees. So what has helped you or not helped you?
Definitely. Yeah, it's a crazy time, to say the least, to get started. In regards to the agency, so we're up to 10 agencies now.
Okay.
So mostly north of Boston, but yeah, we're up to 10 offices now. We're at about, I couldn't even tell you a solid number, probably about 45 employees, I'd say.
Okay.
Excuse me. And yeah, the growth is like any other industry company, anyone you talk to right now, it's hard right now.
Yeah.
I think movement inside the industry is not terribly active, and people coming into the industry, again, there are small barriers to entry just in the fact that there's a lot to learn in insurance. You have big books you got to get through, you got tests to take. It's again, higher barriers of entry than most industries, so it might kind of slow people down to getting into it. But for us, again, it's about just building strong relationships in the industry, outside the industry, and showing kind of what we can do and who we are, and hope to attract people. So yeah, I mean, we're trying to, I guess I can use this platform today to say that we're looking for both inside and outside salespeople, service people, any good people that really just want to grow with the company and continue to get good opportunities. We'd love to talk to.
That's awesome, man. And yeah, that's for any of the listeners out there looking at insurance, please reach out to Adam. He's great on LinkedIn, and I'm sure there's other ways to get in touch, which we'll get to at the end. But Adam, I do want to pivot a little bit into the risk category. Obviously, as the commercial risk advisor, you're familiar with it. My question is, in a world where people seem to be on two sides, where one is the risk takers and two is those who don't take any risks or don't think they take any risks or are afraid of risk completely. I'd love to hear how, one, you communicate to both parties, and two, how you kind of, I guess this is all the same thing, how you paint the picture to make sure that you're getting to the entrepreneur who takes on a lot of risk and doesn't see the importance of insurance, but also the person who is not taking any risks, sees the importance of insurance, but won't really take that next step. I guess I'm sure you can take it from there.
100%. Yes. And I could go on. If you got a couple hours, I can
Yeah, let's do it.
So it's funny. I just got back from Nashville, Tennessee, working with a different agency, and there's about 25 agents there. And we're talking about getting out of this cycle of, hey, Chris, you're 2 or 3 months before renewal. Can we start talking over your insurance? And essentially I'll look at your policies, spit out some numbers and see if we can work together. That's kind of the cycle that most insurance agents go off of. What we're trying to do is make it a 12-month cycle where you come in. Obviously, we'd love to service everyone's policies and be their broker of record and all that. That's great. But the real important thing when you're getting into companies, especially as you get into bigger companies, is right to what you said. What is your risk appetite? Are you risk averse? Do you want absolutely nothing to happen and be, perfectly clean and whatever? Or are you in a business where there is more risk and you're going to have accidents, you're going to have claims? It's just inevitable. What can you take on yourself? How much protection do you need from us? And kind of where's the, I guess, gray area where we'll have to talk about. And I think this is even more relevant now in COVID, when all of these companies between, in the last 2 years, we've gone ups and downs and peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
Then companies have had to pivot. They've added new services. They've taken away services. They've added, subtracted people. Companies have gone a million different directions right now. And typically what gets overlooked is a landscaper that suddenly does masonry, and they're excited. They hire a couple people. What do they probably forget about? Adding that to their insurance policy, or
Uh,
the workers' comp ratings, or all that. So there's a million pieces of it. And I think that when you go in and you're proactive with a company and speak to them, not in insurance terms, but in risk management terms, and saying, hey, you're doing this particular task, or you're helping customers like this. It's only 5% of your revenue and it's costing you X amount in insurance. Is it even worth your time? Is it even worth your employees' risk? Having conversations like that, which sometimes they're hard, and maybe they won't be accepting, or they might say this guy's crazy.
yeah.
It happens. But I think, again, just having those conversations early and really laying out all of the information in these people in the beginning, and just getting a feel for, do they have a bigger risk appetite and they can take these on? And if something happens, they're fine with it. They'll use the insurance, or they'll eat it themselves in bigger companies situations. Or are they trying to eliminate as much risk as humanly possible? Are they trying to take out any activity the company does that could end up in a claim or in a situation? And they just want to completely eliminate that. There's some companies like that as well. It's really a case by case basis, and it's a matter of having open and honest conversations about what they can take on and what they can't.
I love it. I love it. And dude, one thing that you touched upon there that really piqued my interest was the 5% of your revenue, but generating a lot of risk with that. And I think that comes back to the theme of this podcast, is just knowing your numbers and understanding that there might be times where you have to say, okay, this is only generating so much money. While we have a lot of energies going there, it might not be worth our time. Adam, for somebody that's had experience talking with people around that topic, what are some of the tips that you would give to any of the advisors out there who might struggle to be forthcoming and say it how it is?
Yeah, it's a confidence level. It's a
Yeah.
try it out level. I mean, honestly, the way I look at it is, people have to try things out. Business owners, entrepreneurs, whoever they are, you have to try things. You have to get creative these days. But people know what they're good at. If you
Yep.
talk to a company and 90% of their revenue is coming from one area, they've had the same people for 20 years, they've been doing the same things, it's going really well. And suddenly they branch out and they're doing a new service, they're, whatever else they're doing. And it might be 5-10% of their revenue. And they're dumping all this money into advertising, people, and training. And they might know it's a risk, and it might take off in some situations. And in others, you could tell them, hey, listen, I know you're getting creative. You're spending more money than you're making in this area. Maybe we could try to, spend that advertising on what you're doing and you're great at, and we can help to boost that engagement and help, build that growth on that end, as opposed to trying to do something you're not, and trying to, get creative when you don't need to be. There's so many brilliant people out there that are so good at one thing, and they're scared that they might be just, on one line and only be good at one thing. When in reality, if you're great at that, people are going to pay for it, and you're going to continue to grow, as opposed to trying to do everything at once, being okay at it. And, you might get a couple of customers and they'll say, oh, this guy's okay, but I can find better. So I guess my advice would be, stick to what you're great at, continue to grow. And as great as creativity is these days, sometimes you need that push back in the right direction to say, hey, let me stick to what I know.
Man, amen. I love it, man. And that's something that I think a lot of people can relate to, and you kind of find out as you go on this business journey, entrepreneur journey, career journey, is like you can get that shiny object syndrome, I like to call it, where everything looks to be this great idea, and then you go through it, you're like, I'm not that good. This is something that was working for me. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, kind of thing. I mean, the cliches can go on and on down that road, but I like how you sum it up there. Adam, I do have, I mean, I know we could talk for ages. I want to be cognizant of your time. I want to respect your time. I appreciate you coming on here. I'd love to hear, for anybody listening that might be in need of insurance, myself included, what are some of the things you look for in a client? Do you serve a specific niche? Are you willing to take on any client, or do they have to be a certain size? What you got going there?
So throughout our 10 agencies, we have a lot of different specialists. We have a lot of different markets. I mean, really any individual or business we can talk to, we can definitely get coverage for. So we rarely shy away from taking a shot at anyone. For me personally, I've been working a lot on the blue collar side of things. I love working in the HVAC industry. I love working with landscapers. And then like the manufacturing side of things is great as well. One of my strengths is the auto side of things on commercial. So anyone with fleets of vehicles, whether it's 5 or 50 vehicles, we can work with that and get creative. And again, ensuring safety, ensuring, being very efficient, and obviously saving money any way we can. So that's been great for us. And yeah, I mean, the manufacturing industry has been really a strength of ours. But again, I'm always open to talking to people. I'm always open to getting creative and helping them any way we can. The calls we get in insurance, as you can imagine, are sometimes straightforward, other times absolutely crazy. So it's fun getting to learn each day from different people, and we're happy to service anyone.
That's awesome, man. And I love it, dude, because there's a couple things that come to mind as we wrap up here. It's one is like, you're in the advisory industry, you have clients that you like to serve. I mean, you sell insurance, but you do far more than that, right? You have to relate to these clients. You have to be able to see where they're at. And the way it was explained to me is like, as an advisor, financial, business, professional, whatever you have, it's almost like you're a therapist in a way. And these business owners will come to you with their needs. And sometimes it just takes you like saying, okay, I get it. We have the solution. Don't worry. And then sign this dotted line and pay us. But no. But I think it is important for the advisors out there to understand that there is a lot of emotion involved in the business world. And if you can just be able to relate to somebody and find where they are, meet them where they are, and carry them along the journey, it goes a long way and is greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Awesome. Well, Adam, as we wrap up, there is one question that I ask all of our guests here on the Know Your Numbers podcast. And being a money and finance podcast, it is related to wealth. I'd love to hear, Adam, what is one truth about money that most people regard as myth?
For me, well, that's a tough one. I wish I prepared for this one. For me, I'm all about the real estate industry. And I think that one thing is, no matter what, if you're going to put your money into real estate, it's going to grow. It might go down for 1 year, 5 years, but down the road for us young guys, it's always going to grow. So for me, that's the safest investment, somewhere I'm trying to get creative with. And I think that it's a no brainer and a no fail. You just got to kind of know what you're doing, where you're buying, and it's going to grow really quickly.
That's awesome, man. I love it. That's a great way to end this episode. Adam, if anybody wants to reach out to you, how can they do so? What's the best way to get in contact?
Yeah, so like you said, I'm all over LinkedIn. You can just search Adam Risman with Risman Insurance. My email is arisman@risman.com, or you can give me a call at 781-670-7910.
Awesome. And we'll link all that in the show notes. For all you listeners out there, I trust that you enjoyed this. Be sure to reach out to Adam, insurance or not insurance related. He's a great guy and he loves to help. So thank you, Adam, for being here. Look forward to talking with you soon, and you have a great rest of the day.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.